Ollie!
What a trip, hey?
You just had an amazing trip.
Jesus Christ.
How did the van go?
Oh, phenomenal.
Was it
I
good?
absolutely love it. I'm selling my 76 and my Troopy, and I'll probably keep the Defender because it's not worth anything.
We're out by Wedge Island, not far from where I live, and we've got a surprise. Not only are we going to take one HiAce on the dunes, we're going to be taking another HiAce on the dunes. And this is the second vehicle in the fleet of test vehicles testing out the 48 volt architecture. This, like my van, has the full 48 volt system installed. Not only that, this vehicle has a full AC system built into it, so you can camp out and have AC, and it has a full camping deck out as well. We're going to go driving and then I'll show that to you.
It is the revolution in DC power distribution. Hello to Hiluxes, HiAces and Land Cruisers. We are today on our way to Wedge Island. We're actually bloody close. It's just the turn off to Wedge Island, which is a beautiful beach in WA, just north, about 1.5 hours north of Perth. It's quite a windy day, but we've got Ollie from Headspace here with his HiAce, Andrew is here with the Egon HiAce, and we got Kyle here with his Troopy from Arc something. I can't quite remember the company he's from. Sorry, Kyle.
Andrew, can you engage your center diff lock on the move?
I'm going to see now, but yes, it should do.
I couldn't get mine to do it, I had to stop then.
Yeah, it locked while I was moving. Always nice getting on back off road. So it's midsummer, it's very, very windy, typical this time of year, this area. The ambient sitting at about 33, 34 now. Inland, just 2 or 3 kilometers from here, it's 40 degrees plus. So it's a very, very warm part of year. A couple of days before Christmas, and we're just going to go and play. This is the first time I have driven this van in sand.
Obviously, I'm in my Hilux, same Hilux I did the canning with, so I can actually get people out of a bog when they get stuck with my fantastic car that never gets stuck. It's gonna pull me out. Then we hit this thing with a lot of speed on the way up again, and an empty beach.
Unlike the other vehicles, I have 31-inch tires. They all are equipped with 33-inch. So I am at a disadvantage, but I'm significantly lighter than that HiAce because I have yet to put the interior in this van. So I am pretty light. I really like driving this HiAce. The driving position and it appears Ollie does too. Alright, so he's a Queenslander and he surfs. What do you expect?
I suppose that's the Queensland way, hey? Are we already took a few shots?
Yeah, it's obvious I needed to be a lot more aggressive than that. No, I didn't. I tapped off too early. There's a big slope this far in front of the wheels. I tapped off too early.
And now you dug in quite a bit in the back.
I don't think I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to try reverse, but I have my doubts.
Your diff housing is sunk in already.
Oh, the sand blasting in my face is unbearable. And I see Ollie is stuck as well.
Ollie, it's been what, like 2 minutes and both vans are stuck? What's going on?
I could use my max tracks, but I'm going to ask Heiner to give me a winch back. And Ollie, well, he's put on some swimming goggles to protect his eyes. Now I know what some of you are thinking. Oh look, the two vans got stuck and the Hilux and the Troopy didn't. Well, no, you're not understanding. See, the Hilux and the Troopy didn't actually take any difficult lines. They just drove around and spent all the time helping us out. Ollie and I took difficult lines on purpose, knowing we would probably get stuck, because getting stuck is fun. But in this kind of wind on the sand, not that much fun.
Got it all on camera.
And to Carl's disappointment,
Oh, he's out.
all it took was a couple of max tracks and out the HiAce popped. It's a pity we didn't have more times on the dunes. I would have really liked to have pushed it a bit harder, but the prospect of getting stuck again in this wind, yeah, I think I'd like to go and have a cold beer and take a closer look at that HiAce. The interior in that HiAce is built by Unwind Designs of Victoria. Their concept of a kitchen is quite different from the idea that Heiner and I have, but it is really, really valuable actually seeing another take on the challenge of making HiAce really livable. They, of course, put the kitchen and living area out of the side.
So down here we've got two reels, both retractable, one for water and one for air. So this reaches all the way around the car, pump up all four tyres. Then we've got the best part of the van, this massive slide out kitchen, which comes all the way out and it keeps going. Double induction, got plenty of storage, drawers everywhere, sink, hot and cold water, big 130 litre fridge freezer, more storage, extra bench top and a coffee machine. We have a indoor shower. We've got a slide out bed to sleep downstairs. Readable reading lights up there. Massive 6,000 watt Victron inverter. 48 volt system from Egon, all hidden away in this cabinet with a custom Lithium 200 amp hour battery. We also have a worktop surface in here, plenty of storage, and the coolest feature, aircon, which is also aircon and heating split cycle, with an additional port to run aircon up into your roof conversion while you're sleeping at night. Oh, this is the aircon, connected through the inverter, so runs off 240 volt, and we just turn that on. We're drawing about 900 watts at the moment, which isn't a whole lot, especially for this system.
No, it's not that big.
But we could run this all night with the amount of battery power we've got. And
So you've fitted this in Melbourne.
yes,
The video is great, it's fantastic. When you first saw the charge time,
What's that, like 5,500?
5,500.
you gave it a good... What was your first thought?
it was, Heiner and I had spoken about this many times, and just to see it actually getting 5,500 watts at its peak, it was just like, to get that much charge, especially through the cables that we had run to make this happen, it was just actually mind-blowing. Like, I still can't quite comprehend how it's possible in a vehicle. It's...
So now what are you doing when somebody comes to your workshop and asks you, you do some pretty hot, high-end 12-volt systems. How are you handling that?
Well, unfortunately, all the hard work I've put into the 12-volt system is essentially redundant, because for almost the same cost we can get a 48-volt system, which will charge at, 4, 5, 6, whatever stupid multiplier quicker than a 12-volt system. You can charge a equivalent of 800 amps of 12 volt in just over 2 hours. It usually takes 16 hours in a 12 volt system, and that's one of my high-end 12 volt systems as well. That has all the bells and whistles. So for the same sort of similar cost, you can get a system that actually charges quickly, which means you can use a smaller battery and you can power more appliances at the same time. It's just a bit of a no-brainer to go 48 volt.
It really is wonderful to hear that from somebody else. I mean, we've developed the system, but, to hear it from somebody else. But the person I really want to talk to about this is Ollie. He's about to take his HiAce on a big trip, including coastal forests and lots of beaches that are tricky to get onto and even harder to get off. Now, I don't know Ollie well, but I have a hunch that he's going to push the HiAce to its limits. And probably the 48 volt system as well. Ollie!
What a trip, hey?
You just had an amazing trip.
Jesus Christ.
How did the van go?
Oh, phenomenal. I absolutely love it. I'm selling my 76 and my Troopy, and I'll probably keep the Defender because it's not worth anything. No, I absolutely, honestly, I was talking to Heiner on the phone about it. There was not a single situation or place that I went to that I couldn't get through or was concerned about the van. And then on hot days like this, it's probably still running out, aircon. We just run the aircon on the back the whole time. So I think the 48 volt system, the power that thing produces is phenomenal. I don't think we got below 75% of the battery. And then we ran the aircon most days while we're up sort of north this way, and then we went down to Esperance, we didn't really need it at all. We put the heater on a few times, but the power coming out of that 48 volt alternator is just absolutely phenomenal. I think Heino, he's really come up with something there. And I think it'll be good to see it in troop carriers too, because it'll open up that living experience. Instead of camping and having to limit how long you camp for because it's not that comfortable, you can just live in it like it's full time. So anyway, great trip. Really loved it. It feels like double the space. I know it's not quite, but it feels it. The bed is an extra 20 millimeters wider. It's an extra half a meter longer. You can almost have 2 beds upstairs, And then the space downstairs. I'm sitting. Where's my ledge? I'm sitting roughly where the bed would come down. So yes, it'd be quite cramped. But you just can't do that in a Troopy. You can't have the bed down and then sit downstairs and do a bit of work on a laptop or something. You're really limited to that. Either you're upstairs or you're downstairs with the bed up. So I think with the van, you've got the best of both worlds there. Not to mention the capacity to put in a larger battery and then introduce the 48 volt system, which Egon's bringing to the market. I think that really revolutionises camping or modular camping in a confined space. You're not relying on that outdoor power source like a generator or shore power to run your air conditioning units or your induction cooktops. If you're cooking for a family, you can just run the whole unit off the car because you've got that large alternator, that 48 volt alternator. So then couple Egon's products, alternator, you've got the DC hub, which just makes everything so much easier to control and wire up, I should say. It's probably more the wiring up stage, isn't it? It makes it that much easier. And then the custom lithium battery as well. I think pulling all those components together just allows you to have so much more utilization of the van. And then as such, you can live out of it. It's a house. It's got more power than my apartment. It does.
Now, I really don't want to overstate this, but my conclusion from my driving it, watching other people drive it, listening to others that own the bus 4x4 conversion, is that without any question at all, the HiAce's off-road ability is equal to anything I am likely to throw at it. So any kind of travelling that I love to do, it will not just cope, but cope very, very well. And in some respects might even be better off-road than a troop carrier. Yes, it doesn't have solid axles, and that means something. But its weight distribution is far better It's fantastic to drive. On corrugations, it's unbelievable. I've never driven anything quite like this on corrugations. And look at it off-road. It's phenomenal. And my conclusion is that if you are doubting whether HiAce will cope with the off-road driving that you do, I would suggest that if you are an extreme off-roader, you're probably driving solid axles anyway. But if you're not, then this platform is brilliant.